Hey everyone, this is Mark from Wiki. In this Elementor tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a custom print button with full control over what gets printed and how it looks. So this was a recent client request where they wanted to have it where when they click a print recipe button, for example, that they would have full control over what's going to get printed. So first, let me show you the native like Elementor way, or in most cases, this is what happens when you hit a print button like this. You're going to get like the header right here, which you probably don't want. You're going to have the print buttons are going to come in, and then you're going to have like the footer. So the client wanted a way where you can not have all of that extra stuff in there. They just wanted like the core part of the page, which is like the title and the image and like the main like part of the page, the content. So in this example, what I'm going to show you is when you click this print button, it's going to have it where you can choose how everything's displayed. So as you can see, you don't have the header up here anymore. You don't have the footer, and it's pretty clean. So you can actually go in here and start to change like how big all of these like fonts are and everything like that. So you're going to have a lot more granular control. You can move stuff around. If I wanted to have the title up here, I can do that. So in order to pull this off, what this is actually just using a JavaScript button with a little bit of CSS in there. So now let me jump into this page and show you how everything is set up. All right, so here we are on the back end of this website, and in this situation, you don't have to follow it exactly like this. I just wanted to show you how this demo is set up. What I did is I'm using Jet Engine, and I have post types right here. So you don't have to use post types or anything like that. You could do all of this natively. So if you have it where, it's for your post, it's essentially the same way. But I just wanted to keep everything clean on the back end, and I have everything as a custom post type, and it's just called recipes. And then inside of here, I just have it where it's just a regular like page. So like a regular post, I have the title. And then this is like the page content right here. And on the right side, I'm just using the native featured image. So like I said, you could use just a regular post if you want. So I wanted to show those three elements are like the normal elements. So like page title, the page content, and the featured image. And since I'm using Elementor, what I did is I have a custom template right here. So let me open this up. I have underneath Elementor, this is the newest version, so it might look a little bit different for you, but under templates, I have, let me click on here. I created this one called recipe template, and I'm just tying it to my custom post type for recipes. So now let me go ahead and show you how simple this is. I just have the regular post title. So I literally just went into here, post title. I'm using the post content and the featured image. So that's what this one is right here. We got the featured image. And then right down here, we have the post content. So this is pretty standard when you're creating like a post template like this. So that example I showed you in the beginning of the tutorial, if you pull in something like share buttons, or if you're using another plugin to do like a print function, they give you zero control over how it looks or functions. So it's literally just, I pulled in the share buttons, click print, and then that's the bad example where it's gonna print the header and the footer, so the client didn't want that. So the only way to really pull this off is if you use a separate plugin, which I don't really like using plugins if I don't have to, or you can just create a really simple JavaScript button. So that's what this is right here. So if you want, you could just copy and paste this code. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, so you can just copy and paste it if you want. But let's go ahead and let's delete this one right here. And what I recommend is what we need to do is first, let's add the CSS IDs. I'll go back to this code in a minute, but let's go back into your post title. And what we're going to need to do is, if you look underneath CSS ID, I'm calling this one recipe-title. And then this one right here is called recipe-image. And then right down here, I just called this one ingredients. So you're going to want to make sure that if you're not going to use the IDs that I have in my code, you're going to have to go ahead and just change those. And then I'll show you where you change it in the code. Okay, so now we get to the fun part, and that is going back into the code. So what I did is I just have an HTML widget, and you just click and drag in this code right here. So this is really lightweight code. So this is about as bare bones as you're going to get for a functionality like this. So I'm going to go through this kind of step by step and show you all the things that you need to update. Okay, so the very first thing is this is your HTML to create the button on the front end. So right here it says print recipe. Whatever you want this button to say, you can have it right here. And then the good thing is if you just use the button semantic HTML code, however you have it styled in your website through your site editor up here, it's going to pull that in. But since this is just raw HTML, if you need to do inline CSS or anything like that, or add classes, you can always go ahead and do that. So this chunk right here is going to show the different IDs that we just tagged. So like I said, we have recipe.image, which is the featured image widget right here. You can see that right there is matching up. Ingredients is the main page content. And then the recipe title is, of course, just the title. Then down here, this is just going to go ahead and when there's an image, it needs to be rendered out a certain way. So that's kind of what this code is. Now, right down here is going to be something pretty important. Let's go ahead and let me remove this first so you can kind of understand what's going on. I'm going to remove that chunk of CSS, and then I'm going to go to the front end, hit refresh, and let me show you what that code does. So if you look right here, all of this text is not really rendered out correctly. It's not rendering out the right size or anything like that. So when you add JavaScript code, let me go back into here and add that code back into here. When you add a function like this with JavaScript, it's not pulling in your styles anymore. Essentially what it's doing is it's pulling in whatever you declare up here, your 3 different sections, and then it's kind of just rendering that out on a blank page. And now inside of here, you're going to have full granular control over how big you want everything. So this first title is an H1. So if I click right here, you can see it's an H1. And then these titles down here are H2s. So that's what I did right here is you could target how big you want your sizes. So since this is just going to be printed on paper, you can use pixels. It doesn't really matter because when you print, any sort of like responsive controls, or if you're using clamps or anything like that, I'm not 100% if that's going to work correctly. So you could just go back to old school pixels and it will render out correctly. So let me go back into that page and hit publish. And let's hit refresh on here. And now you can see it's going to print correctly. So I have where the H1 is a lot bigger. These are the H2s, and then you can add like a little border underneath it so it separates it. So that's what's cool about this is you're going to have full control over how everything's going to look. And then down here, this is how it's going to get rendered out on that blank page. So you can see here's a body tag, and it's just displaying whatever you declared up here. So those 3 tags. Now I have it where it's the image first, title, then the page content. But let's go ahead and say I want to have the title above the image. So all you need to do is just move it above the image. Just go up here like this, delete that. I'm going to hit publish. So now it should render out when I click that print recipe button. It's going to be title, image, and then the page content. So go here, hit refresh. So as you can see, when we do that, we have the title, we have the featured image, and then we have the main page content right here. Now, I do recommend if you're going to do it where it's at a template level, this is probably a good structure to have because you only have to manage 3 different things now. You only have to manage the title, the featured image, and the ingredients. Now you could go super granular depending on your website, and you could have all different types of sections. So you can have like just the recipe ingredients, have that, it's like its own ID. And then you would just go up here and duplicate this and call it like recipe ingredients. Down here you can have a cookware one. So that way you could have full control over how things are laid out. You can have different color backgrounds, but you do have to remember when people print, like if you see our printer right here, when I click print, a lot of people just have like a laser printer. That's what we have. I used to have a color jet, with all the different colors, but I never really printed colors. So you do have to take into consideration when you print, a lot of people might only be printing black and white. So you don't want to have any weird, funky backgrounds or anything like that. And then another thing I learned doing this is if you start to have your images cut off, you need to definitely use some CSS. You could just probably do a width 100%. Let's go ahead and just change that to like 50%. Hit publish. And so you could see the image when I hit print. It's going to be a lot smaller. So it's 50% of whatever the paper is going to be. So if you start to run into any weird, clipping or anything like that, you can maybe do an auto height. So this is when using a little bit of CSS is going to help. And then up here, I forgot to mention, this is where you can globally tell it whatever font you're going to use. So the way I look at it is, this is just going to be basic CSS. So just as if it's going to be like a newsletter, you have to treat it like that. You don't try to put in any responsive codes. Don't use like rems or anything crazy like that because it might not render out. It's okay to use pixels here, and then just simple CSS because it's just going to be printed. And then that's it. So that's as clean as you're going to get with this type of code. And like I said, it's best to go ahead and use like a JavaScript button. I wouldn't recommend having a whole other plugin to do this because you got to learn a little bit of CSS and JavaScript, and then you don't have to worry about having a whole other plugin. So I highly recommend doing something like this if a client or if you need a way to be able to print something and not have all this extra bloat on your website. And that's it for this video on how I was able to create this custom JavaScript print button in Elementor. So let me know if this video was helpful. Make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you aren't already. Again, this is Mark from Wiki.